Well, obviously, we'll talk about Maryland here in a second. I'll talk about Ray. Obviously, there's been a lot of questions about Ray over the last few hours. Ray sustained an injury at the end of practice yesterday, fractured his left hand, his non-shooting hand. Ray will be out indefinitely. Surgery is tomorrow. We're going to get right at it. It's the best thing for Ray. And we'll know more on timeline in terms of his return based on how the surgery goes tomorrow. We're certainly very optimistic, but I don't want to present you or anyone with the timeline until we get through the surgery tomorrow. If anyone doesn't deserve for something like this to happen to him, it's him. The amount of work that he's put in outside of what we ask of him has been ridiculous, going on 2+ years now. I think we all know that he was playing at a really, really high level. And obviously doing it on the defensive end, doing it with his rebounding, doing it with his scoring. Most importantly, his maturation as a person. I've been just really thrilled with that. And, yesterday when I talked to him as we got back from getting the x-ray, the first thing he was worried about was his teammates, and his team. So Ray's come a long way, and we'll hope for the best, certainly with his surgery tomorrow and his recovery. In terms of Maryland, obviously we're playing a terrific, basketball team that's playing at a really high level right now. They're really deep, playing 10 guys, double-figure minutes. I think the injuries to, Wells and Samatrich, although, Turge would probably not want those to happen, allowed him to play some of those freshmen earlier and give them some very valuable minutes. And now that they have all their bodies available to them and have both guys in full health, those guys, I think, really gained some valuable experience throughout that process. And now they're a much, even deeper team. I think Trimble, I certainly don't get to watch all the college basketball teams during the year because I'm more worried about our team and the opponent, et cetera, et cetera. But he's got to be about as good as any freshman point guard that I've certainly seen on film in some time. Has a great knack for getting to the free throw line. Obviously, Des Wells returns for them as a all-ACC performer last year when Maryland was in the ACC. So, they're really talented. They can really shoot the ball with Lehman and Samatrich. They've got great depth at 5. And, we're going to have our hands full. I think the thing that's been the most impressive about them that I certainly appreciate, especially with what we've been going through with our team, is if you look at their offensive statistics and their 2 league wins, they're not eye-shattering. They certainly can shoot the ball. If you look at it as a whole, their entire season, they're certainly capable of doing that. They just happened not to do it in the first 2 league games, but they found a way to win anyway. I thought they stepped up and made big plays, and their defensive numbers through the first 2 games are off the charts. And as we all know, when you defend and you rebound in this league, it always gives you a chance. So, we've practiced really well yesterday. I thought practice was good. I thought that practice was good heading into the last game as well. We've just got to be a little bit more consistent. Certain guys have to be better in their roles more consistently. They can't be hit and miss. Our defense has to get better. And then obviously taking care of the ball for the first time was really a real issue the other day. I thought the 20 turnovers and giving up 60% from the field for the first time in our tenure at Illinois, we're lucky it was 16. I mean, differential could have been more. So, obviously we've addressed that a lot here the last few days and, know that we've got to get back to defending and we've got to get back to taking care of the basketball like we're capable of. Questions?
How did the injury happen with Ray?
In practice yesterday. Just in a live drill and kind of a freak deal. Just trailing a screen and lost his balance, tried to catch himself, and, stuff happens.
Obviously, it's hard to replace him, but where do you go from here, and how do you handle this?
Well, they play 5 players. We play 5 players. So that's enough for me. We got to figure it out. Next man up.
Is there a chance you'd get him back yet this season?
Won't know till post-surgery, as I said there earlier, Tup.
John, how did the players respond yesterday when they heard the news?
Well, unfortunately, in today's day and age, the proper protocol would be for a guy to be able to go to the doctor and get true analysis first And then the proper protocol would be for a head coach to be able to meet with his team first. But today's a different world. So my answer to that is I've seen some guys individually. I will see the team collectively at 2:30. I did send them as personal as a text can be to my team earlier this morning, but I will see them at 2:30.
What will you tell them at 2:30?
Next man up, what I just said to you. I mean, obviously we're going to feel Ray's pain. Ray's an important part of our family, and Ray's worked really hard. I mean, Ray's playing at a really high level right now. Those guys know that. We know that. But now some opportunity for some other guys are going to have to step up. I mean, it is what it is. We're not going to shut down the season. We're going to play. And we've got 5 guys just like they have 5 guys on Wednesday night. It's our 5 versus their 5 at a time. We've got to play as a team. We've got to defend better. We've got to take care of the ball better, regardless of whether Ray's playing or not.
Some individual guys need to step up and be more consistent. How do you get that from guys at this point in the season?
It's a great question, Marcus. Some guys got to man up and get it done. They do. I mean, they've got to be better than they're playing right now, and I think they are better than they're playing right now, some of our guys. I know at the same time, too, that bothers them, too. I mean, it's not like they're not trying. They've got some guys got to figure it out. They got to connect the dots a little bit better. But at the end of the day, our team's got to defend better. You can't give up 60%. You give up the field goal percentage numbers we have through 2 league games, and that's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it.
You revisit the Finke red shirt at all, John, or is that too far?
Not at this time.
John, what you're saying about this day and age is that you're disappointed until we already knew the story before we
Yeah, I think it's a little bit ridiculous. When something happens at 6 o'clock last night, and no one's really as concerned about. I need to get in front of my team. I need to handle it the right way. But that's the world we live in, Rob.
John, a lot of people focus on the offense, but just defensively, it seemed like Ray was one of your guys you could count on. I mean, how
Ray's a monster. I mean, Ray's a monster on offense. Ray's a monster on defense. Ray's a monster rebounding. Ray's one of the best players in the country. He was playing at that level. Not one guy can replace Ray. It's got to be a collective effort. And some guys are going to have to step up, and they're going to get that opportunity, and I know they're looking forward to that opportunity. I would be if I was one of those guys. You certainly don't wish that upon any of your teammates. We love Ray, and our guys really respect Ray. But at the same time, that leads to now some opportunity for some other guys, and they're going to have to step up.
About adding or deleting one player changes the dynamic. How does it change for the aggression you need to see out of Malcolm and Kendrick especially?
Well, both those guys, I think, have played some good basketball this season, Malcolm and Kendrick. We just need them to be a little bit more consistent. I think they're working on that. I thought they both were better defensively in the Ohio State game, individually speaking, in terms of what they did on that end of the floor. I thought that was encouraging. And those guys are coming in. They're coming in early. They're getting with their position coaches. A lot of them already came in this morning individually and worked out. And they want to be good. I mean, they want to figure it out, and they're working hard at that.
When you envisioned this team, John, a while back, Tracy, Darius, Ray, all cornerstones of what you were thinking, boy, it's really a different group right now, isn't it?
It is right now, but it is what it is, Tup. You got to control what you can control. And right now the roster we have is the roster we have, and you can put 5 guys on the floor at a time, and every other team in our league does the same thing. So we don't have any excuses. We've got to figure it out.
I know you've played Mav and Nana together.
Yeah.
Moran, I guess, Malcolm over. Are all those things kind of in play?
Sure. Mav and Nana have been playing together in practice. We played them together in the game the other day. We've done that in a couple stints here and there. I think Mav has really improved a great deal, has continued to get better. I thought the other day he played really well. I think he's getting more and more confidence, Jeremy, with those minutes that have been coming his way, and I think he's played well in practice, and I think he really feels good about what he brings to the table and is embracing his role, so I'm really encouraged by that. Is big ball an option? No question about it, it's an option. It was an option, the other day, even before this. So, I think a lot of that is, I've said this to everybody before, but players play players, and I'm really excited that Mav's starting to get it. Which is good. So that gives us more versatility with our lineup.
Coach, you always talked about how productive the sit-out year was for Ray. What do you need to see from him during this period of time?
Well, him and Tracy both. I thought Tracy did a great job the other day, being very vocal on the bench. He was terrific. I meet with him a lot. I'll do the same thing with Ray, and now we just added another assistant coach, to our staff. Just kind of is what it is for right now. We'll certainly lean on his experience. And I know Ray will approach it the right way, and he'll try to help guys. And he's been doing that a lot anyway, so that'll be his role for right now. Be no different than Tracy's.
Think of Ahmad and Aaron, obviously that their shooting struggles. I mean, what does this do for those guys? Obviously, you got to lean on them.
Well, it doesn't do anything differently for them. They've got to be who they are. They got to play their role better. At the end of the day, I've always said water finds its level. I do think I believe they'll start making some shots as long as they take good ones and they take them with good technique and they're on balance. That's the most important thing, for those guys. And both those guys have, at times shown that. We just need them to be a little bit more consistent with it. And, now they'll have an opportunity via maybe some more minutes, Jeremy, to have a chance to be more consistent with it. There's going to be some opportunity out there. I mean, guys are going to have an opportunity to, show that they can be an NBA All-Star in their role.
You don't go large. Does that mean Lutuluba is the next step in the rotation?
Mike's got to be ready. They all got to be ready. Colbert's got to be ready. We need everybody ready to play. All guys at this point are, they're always an option. We prepare that way, so. We'll see how it goes here in the next day or two as we prepare today and finish our preparation. Obviously, we've had to wrinkle a couple things, and we'll work some of those things here this afternoon. But at the end of the day, all options are in play.
And then another incident with LeBron the other day. Where are you at with getting him to, again, kind of channel his emotion, his energy?
He needs to be better at that. He needs to be better at channeling his motion and being physical and aggressive and, playing hard without fouling and, finding a way to play with emotion without being emotional, all those things. Marcus, he's working really hard at it. He's a great kid.
A little off subject, but Champaign's formally bid for the state tournament. Do you think that's important for the University of Illinois to host the state?
I think it's really important. I've not backed down from that from day one, from the time I interviewed for the job. Yeah, I think it's really, really important. Again, I don't have the list in front of me that DB gave me, but a lot of the guys, I hope I don't get anybody. Altenberger, Bardo, Gill, help me out. Yeah, I mean, there's like 25 or 30 of those guys that all played in here prior to coming to the University of Illinois. I think if you talked to them and said, did that influence at all, or what type of feeling did that give you towards Illinois? Because I've asked them. It was a very positive feeling towards Illinois. So I think it influenced for sure. I also think it's great for our community. I think it's great, for Champaign-Urbana. I think it's great for the university. I just think it's a win-win all across the board.
Can I ask about in Columbus, Jalen was there. Was that his first in-person Illini game team?
That I'm not sure, Rob. You'd have to ask him. I think it was, but you'd have to ask him. I think it was.
His brother was there. I wonder, are you recruiting Isaiah?
What's that now? Zeke? We're always recruiting. Question. Next one.
Do we have anything from the phone lines for Coach?
John, it's Steve. I apologize if you've addressed this. I can't hear all the questions being asked. But what about Ray's emotions? How hard is this on him? Is he struggling with it?
Well, that's between me and Ray and his mom, Steve. That's a personal, question. He's not real thrilled about it. Ray wants to play. He wants to compete. It's his senior year. As you can imagine, anyone in that situation, whether it was Tracy earlier or Ray now, when you love the game and you're as competitive as those two guys are, you don't like to be dealt those cards. But sometimes we get dealt cards in life. Sometimes out of our control, and we just got to play the cards we're dealt, and that's certainly what we're going to do. And I know Ray, after talking to Ray, is prepared to do that as well.